don't believe that computers can do what the analog machines can do. The computers can do great things and they sound great and everything, but it's different. And I like the characteristic of a real instrument because it will have something unexpected. Like if you look at the synth behind me, there's maybe 100 of these in the world and no two are the same. If this was a virtual instrument, like a software, they would all be exactly the same, you know, because it's just a code. But this one, maybe because of a tiny bit difference in some wire, this one sounds different from the next one. And that means this one has a unique character that you can explore and you can discover something. Every time I play it, I discover something unique about that synthesizer. And that's what I get from these hardware instruments that I would never get from the computer. I am from this suburban town here in Iceland called Mosfellsbær. The town has this really small town feeling. Even though it's kind of part of Reykjavik, people who live there, they either move away or they stay there their whole life, you know? I was one of the people who moved away. I played drums for most of my youth, so I actually played in some bands that toured a little bit around the world, and I was listening to a lot of punk music and slowly started discovering film music and classical music, so Chopin and film music stuff like John Williams, and that really changed my life, you know, discovering that and seeing how classical music didn't have to be so complicated, and you could actually make this really simple and accessible, classically inspired music. I've been working on this kind of technology for these pianos over here. They are self-playing, they play on their own. And I work with software programmers to create these algorithms to control these pianos, which has been like 2 years in the making. We're still working on it. I don't have a degree in composition or anything like that. I tried. I went to university to study classical composition, but I dropped out in the first year. There was a piano in my house. I always played the piano. When I started getting interested in more piano-based music, I started really trying to study other music and trying to look into it and see what's going on here. Why is this nice? Why does this sound beautiful? So that's kind of where my knowledge comes from. A lot of it comes from listening and even copying. You know, when I was younger, I would like find something I like in a song, and I would like, okay, then I can take that element, put it here, and then I like this, I can put that here. So a lot of my early songs sounds like weird montages or tributes, but that's cool, you know. It's just a way to learn. I work with a lot of tube compression and tube preamps and tube EQs to shape the sound, and then a lot of tape machines, especially for making echo, but also just to shape the sound. I like the sound of tape, I like the noise of tape. Most of my songs, they can't really handle a structure like in pop where you do verse and then a chorus and then a verse and then a chorus. I really like working with music in the same way as you work with electronic music, just using loops basically. The song is never really changing. It's just building up on one idea. So then you're limited in the way that you cannot turn left or right, you can only go up and down. And I think the main reason I build in my music is in order to be able to take something out. I'm traveling a lot, which can be stressful, and I've tried writing in other places, and like I've spent some time in Berlin, spent some time in Los Angeles, And in these places I always find it a bit harder to actually write music. Maybe it's just because I feel a bit lost there, or maybe it's because there's so much happening there, there's so much to do. So I think the connection I have with Iceland is that every time I come here I can sit down and I can write a lot of music quite easily, because somehow the whole community and society is a little bit slower.